Hi, welcome back. If you are returning from last week's video, I just want to say thank you to all of my wonderful friends and family that left really nice comments and supported me. It was very vulnerable for me to post and do this, and so I appreciate everyone that supported me, and even the handful of people that found me that have no connection to me that commented on that. I really appreciate you. Two, if you're new here, hi, I'm Sophia. Today is really fun and exciting because we are about to head out on a little weekend trip. My husband and I are going to be going to Whidbey Island in Washington State, where we're from, and we're really excited. We're staying at this hotel that I've known about for a long time, that I've always wanted to stay at, so super stoked for that. And obviously, with any vacation, there's going to be some reading involved because that's really one of the prime times to read. And when you're getting away and you want to relax and refresh, for me, one of the best things I can do is read. So we'll start off this video by talking about what I will be reading. First off, I have my Kindle here. I have a book that I've got from the library that's a new release. It's Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. I haven't read any of her books before. I know that she's done like a small town romance series called The Edens. Is that her? I think The Edens is her. I haven't read any of her books, but I just really, the only reason why I wanted to read this one is I kept getting Instagram ads for it. Not even people talking about the book, but just Instagram ads, and I was just interested. That's it. I don't know. I read like not even 3 chapters, maybe 2 chapters last night that were pretty brief, and I am feeling very neutral about it. I don't know if I'm gonna love it. Think it might be a little spicier, which is not my cup of tea, so I might have to skip some stuff. It could be good. It's a very romantic-y fantasy right now, but I don't know if it's going to be one of those ones that's just like done because it's popular, which is kind of the thing right now with romantasy. So it's a tough genre for me right now because I love like the OG ones that went around a few years ago, but everything since then I've kind of been like, So yeah, long story short, Shield of Sparrows, that's kind of what I'll be reading off and on my Kindle. We'll see if I get into it. And then it's time to I want to pick out something from my shelves to bring. Obviously, at some point, I'll stop by a bookstore, but I probably won't read the book or books that I get while we're there. So here's what's on my shelves. I have a lot on my physical TBR right now, but that's for a later video. We'll talk about that. And maybe I'll also walk through my shelves with you in a later video. So for right now, I'm just gonna be grabbing what I'm interested in. My dilemma right now though, is that a lot of the books that I have that I'm really anxious to read are the first book in a series, and I don't really want to start a new series right now until I finish the last Harry Potter book, but I'm not gonna finish that soon necessarily. We'll see. But if I did start a book from a new series, it would probably be Red Rising. I've been loving sci-fi TV shows right now, mainly Silo on Apple TV. I actually have the first book to that series too, but it's a little bit bigger, and Red Rising's on the shorter end for a sci-fi book, so that's kind of why I'm wanting to read it now. So yeah, this could be an option if I break on my stance on not wanting to start a new series. One of the other things that I'm interested in reading is Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. Olivia Blake has written one of my all-time favorite books, and so I've been keeping up with her work ever since, and I haven't read this yet. It wouldn't be something that, had Olivia Blake not written it, I probably would have picked up, but because she's written it, I'm more inclined to read it, and I just love her writing style. It's set in New Orleans, and it's got like vampires and mediums and stuff like that, but it's kind of one of those situations where it's like fantasy characters but in like real world type of settings. The third one that's like a new book to me, actually this isn't a new book to me, I have owned this for a while, Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. This is a memoir from Michelle Zauner, who is the lead singer of Japanese Breakfast, which is a band that I also really, really like. And it's about grief and your relationship with your mom, and it would probably make me cry, and it's nice and short and sweet, so that's kind of why I'm interested in reading it now. I've been wanting to get to it forever. So that is the third option. I'm not going to bring all of these books with me. I'm gonna go pack after this, and I will decide before we leave. I'm only gonna bring probably one of these books with me because I do plan to at least buy one book. Well, good morning. We are here in the beautiful Whidbey Island. You saw a little bit of our travels last night. We got in, we took the ferry, we got up here. We're at a inn called Captain Whidbey, which is very, very pretty. It's kind of a historic log cabin lodge situation. It was beautiful yesterday, beautiful blue sky and sun. And then I read for a little bit last night before going to bed. I continued Shield of Sparrows, and I do think that I'm going to be setting that book down for right now. Honestly, the biggest thing was that I'm reading a high fantasy book and they use the word peeved. And that really just took me out of it. And I was like, I can't. I just need to take a break from this. It's not like horrible, but it's definitely like the type of book that I am only going to want to read if I'm like really craving like a fantasy romance, and that's all I care about. I don't really care about what's going on in the book itself. So I think I'm going to stop that for right now. And I brought Red Rising. That's what I ended up bringing with me. I totally broke on my not starting a series thing, but what can you do? So I have that with me, and if I read at any point today, which I probably will, I'll pick that up. We had a good night, and now we're here. We just got coffee, bagels. We're in this beautiful kind of lagoon area, and after this, we're gonna go head into town and go about our day. So I'll bring you with us. It is a few days later, and I am here on my porch with a beautiful day behind me to wrap up this video and tell you about the last couple days. On Saturday, you'll see some clips from this. We woke up and we had breakfast, and then we left our hotel and stopped by Deception's Pass on the way back, which is one of my absolute favorite places in the state of Washington, and it was a beautiful day, so it was a really, really fun time. Then we drove back, and I just chilled for the rest of the evening. And then Sunday came. It's a work day for us on Sunday, so I was pretty tired, so I didn't end up filming anything, but I read a little bit more of Red Rising on that day as well. And then Monday, which was Memorial Day, so we had it off. I actually locked in. I wasn't feeling great, but I actually finished all of Red Rising. So let's talk about Red Rising. I gave this a 4.5. It was kind of hard to start because it's a sci-fi book. Some people say this is a dystopian, like even on the back it says something about a dystopian. I really feel like this is way more sci-fi than it is dystopian. I think that this came out in like the early to mid 2010s, so that may have been why it was classified as dystopian, because that was during the dystopian era. But to me, it's definitely sci-fi, and I really enjoyed it. Again, it was a little slow to get into just because there's a lot of words and a lot of world building, and the pacing is interesting because it moves through days and time really quickly. So it was a little bit difficult for me to start, but what I do with fantasy and sci-fi books, this might be good, this might be bad, I don't know. When I'm starting something and there's a lot of terms getting thrown around and everything, I don't try to learn it as I read it. I just read it, and if I don't understand something, I just keep going. And then I feel like over time, as I read those terms or sayings or hear those characters' names more and more, I understand it more and more. So instead of, like, okay, it said this word, I'm gonna remember it, and then the next time it says this word, okay, what did this word mean? And then the next time, like, I just say, okay, this was the word, and I just keep going. I don't know if that makes sense, but I find that a lot of people with fantasy and sci-fi, they get intimidated with reading it because there's a lot of new stuff that gets thrown at you in the beginning of the books usually, and they get fixated on making sure they understand every term and every word and know every character's name. But you will understand it eventually if you just keep reading and don't think about everything too hard. So just keep reading, just kind of focus on the plot and the main character, and you'll get there eventually. And that definitely worked for me for this book, because by the time that I got to the end, I pretty much knew most of the things that it had referenced, like the different terms and stuff that it had referenced all the time. This one uses colors as like a hierarchy, so people are designated to be a color, and that kind of determines their place in society. So I learned who the reds are and the golds are and the grays and the greens, like all of those things. So by the end of it, I picked up what all of those meant and all the different weird terms and stuff like that. So don't be intimidated if you're reading it, just keep reading, and I promise you, you will get it and it'll be enjoyable. It's a very, like I said, because it's a very fast-paced book, like even in battle scenes and stuff, it doesn't dwell on them for pages and pages. It kind of gives you the summary and then you move on. I will absolutely be continuing the series, not immediately because I don't want to buy the next book just yet. I have a couple other things that I want to read, but I will definitely, probably within the next month or so, pick up the second book in the series because I don't want to forget everything that I learned in this. And I would definitely say this is a recommendation for people. If you like fantasy, if you like sci-fi, I think you will enjoy this. This is the type of thing where I'm like, okay, I want to see the Apple TV show. Those are my thoughts on Red Rising, and that was the only book that I finished in this video. So this isn't going to necessarily be a part 2 to catching up on my reading goal, because I only got one book closer. And I will say, while I was on that trip and I was reading, because the reading goal kind of updates as you go along, and if you don't, it'll add to it, you're certain books behind. So I went back from being 7, because I was at 9, and then I read 2 books, so I was at 7. So now I'm back at 7 books. We're going to have to do some catching up in the next video. That'll be my official part 2 to the catching up on my reading goal series. But this was just a wonderful little weekend vlog with a little bit of reading thrown in there. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd love for you to like and comment and subscribe and share it if you will. Thank you for all the support I've gotten so far, and I can't wait to keep sharing with you, and we'll see what I read in the next video. Bye!